Amazing, amazing, amazing. We have another beautiful, wonderful woman coming up to the stage. And let me tell you something. She's going to give you quantum shifts on speed dial. And who's going to allow you to become the woman who has it all. This is author and founder of The Quantum Queen, Rozana Atia.
Hello. So, give me a big wave if you ever felt like you're pouring your heart out into your content, but it's like you're speaking into the void. You know, when you show up, you post, you collab, but it's like nobody hears you yet. And it's not because you don't have something powerful to say. In fact, you are very fucking powerful, and every single word you utter is dripping in gold. It is meant to be heard, meant to be seen. But because somewhere along the lines, deep down, you started believing you had to wait for your turn. I know that because I felt that way too. So, how did I become the woman who speaks on stage? The truth is, for the longest time, I was hiding behind, I have a fear of being seen, to stay in the hiding. And it sounded very deep, like now is the time to go deep within and do some healing work yet again on my inner child. But your inner child grew the fuck up, and she wants to be fully expressed through you. She wants you to fulfill her big goals, her dreams, her desires. And she's literally you right now in this room. And when you can utilize your voice and channel your vision through that, your self-expression becomes the most valuable brand asset. Because mine took me from being a faceless brand for at least a year to a brand that consistently brings me guest features, collaborations, and high-ticket clients who pay in full, who used to only jump on payment plans. Thanks. When I finally showed my face online, I unlocked the first layer of visibility. And then 1 to 2 years later, I put on my hijab. And I started speaking the words God and quantum in the same sentence, knowing that I would not be pleasing both communities. Two versions of clients that were judgy, clients that I didn't even fucking want. And I lied to myself and said for the longest time that this was happening because I need to prove my value so that my offers can be seen, or that the algorithm just doesn't like a visibly Muslim woman. And that has been true for some time. But then I also realized that there are actually big Muslim creators online. That does exist in the quantum. And so I decided in that moment to stop playing it safe. And I started claiming my desires loudly and boldly and chose to be too much. Too tough love, too red, too bold, too loud, too funny, too all of me. It's like mixing two pretty colors together to get baby pink and red. That's how much duality I allow, and it's truly magical. You do not have to pick one label to live from. You don't have to box yourself to fit in. You never even fit in. That's why you've always been the black sheep, because you were always meant to lead a new way. And when you become palatable to everyone, you become unforgettable to no one. I chose to do it my way before I fell into yet another trap. And that is the business world's definition of authenticity, which falls under their idea of authenticity, of being raw, of being real, of leadership. But it's literally just that, an idea. An idea that turned into a marketing material, into a program, into a mastermind. So I did it my way. I took all of these beautiful parts of myself together and created the Quantum Queen movement through embodied self-leadership. And as I allowed myself to become fully expressed and created the Quantum Queen movement, I became more of myself, and that is when I started also consulting my quantum self day in and day out on how to show up and how to speak on stage. Instead of following an unrealistic rule of having to be high vibe all day or having to be regulated all day. Instead, I immersed my entire nervous system into this next level of authority and growth and chose to be all of who I am. And by doing that, because here's the thing, I would never shake my ass for a man, but the quantum self, yes. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And I became all, it's me, bitch, flipping my hijab back and forth. That is when a client chose to stay in my world. She told me, I've seen so many growth and transformation of you over the years, but the coolest one I saw was you owning who you are, owning your tradition and your culture visibly in front of everyone, even though I'm not religious myself, but it makes me want to be more of who I am. That is when I knew that being fully me, loudly and proudly, was fulfilling my mission here on earth. It was opening the hearts and the minds of women to become more of themselves, to be themselves their way, and embody that fully. Sometimes I imagine my brand as a Disney villain and a Disney princess sharing the same wardrobe, because that's how much duality I allow. And through doing that, through showing women that you can step into the quantum queen and become the woman who has it all, that exact client now owns a travel agency, manifested the love of her life, and is in my highest ticket program. When you become the quantum queen, your self-expression is fully turned on, it's intoxicating, and certainty becomes your baseline frequency moment to moment. You manifest on autopilot in all areas on repeat. Full red carpet treatment. The laws of the universe bend to get you whatever the fuck you want. When you decide that you are the one, you activate what neuroscience called the self-referential processing, which is the part of the brain that filters in experiences to show you that you have become the one that they cannot ignore. It shows you and reflects the internal self-concept. And the medial prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that lights up whenever you think about yourself. And so the more we practice moving from that version, moving from that vision, that's when your brain filters these experiences to show you that you are the one that they cannot ignore in their stories, the one that turns heads everywhere she goes, the icon of this industry. And what was taking years and months to bring in soulmate clients, it now takes seconds, minutes, hours, and days. And you are the one. You are the quantum queen. You are the motherfucking icon. You being in this room right now is proof that you're ready to be seen, that you're ready to be known, that you're ready to do this. And here's the thing. The main thing that happens when we start practicing being the new version and we start to unlock all of these identities, because identity work is really so deep, where you have to look within and see why I was choosing everybody else over myself, and taking that darkest voice and turning it into your lightest, most invigorating podcast episode, you start to understand that you no longer have to stay in this endless loop of healing. I stopped glamorizing pain and started glamorizing the best case scenario. And once you step into that, you allow yourself to step into your fullest self without constantly having to heal the next thing when there isn't really an end point to healing. It's about being able to look back at all of these parts of yourself with full acceptance, without shaming nor denying these experiences. And that balance is what allows us to move forward. And I'll say this right now, especially in a time like this. Your self-expression, it is not just about you. It's not just about being seen. It's about putting money in the right hands. Hands that build communities, hands that fund liberations, hands that create a much better world for the upcoming generations. And you are the woman whose hands money belongs in. Thank you.